Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. I always have optimism, but I'm realistic. It was not with the expectation of great success that I started Tesla or SpaceX. You have to be pretty driven to make it happen. Otherwise, you will just make yourself miserable. The first step is to establish that something is possible, then probability will occur. I think we are at the dawn of a new era in commercial space exploration. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. Great companies are built on great products. The best part of the journey is the surprise and wonder along the way. I think the best way to attract venture capital is to try and come up with a demonstration of whatever product or service it is, and ideally take that as far as you can. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something inspiring, even if it is vicarious. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. I do think it would be great to become a multi-planet species. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I would like to die on Mars. Just not on impact. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be better. Really pay attention to negative feedback and solicit it, particularly from friends. Hardly anyone does that, and it's incredibly helpful. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. It's very important to like the people you work with, otherwise life, and your job is gonna be quite miserable. If you're co-founder or CEO, you have to do all kinds of tasks you might not want to do. If you don't do your chores, the company won't succeed. No task is too menial. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. You want to have a future where you're expecting things to be better, not one where you're expecting things to be worse. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. Starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people behind it as the product they sell. It's very important to take risks. I think that research is important in the context of taking risks. If you're co-founder or CEO, you have to do all kinds of tasks you might not want to do. If you don't do your chores, the company won't succeed. No task is too menial. It is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. I don't think it's a good idea to plan to sell a company. The only thing that makes sense to do is strive for greater collective enlightenment. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things. I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. A company is a group organized to create a product or service, and it is only as good as its people and how excited they are about creating. It's very important to like the people you work with, otherwise, your job is going to be quite miserable. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. I will end my story now. Thank you to my Milliners fans.